prop makers of the world, and welcome to another prop video. We're following up on my original T-Rex, not my T-Rex skull, my Utahraptor skull, which I will be linking up here at some point. The reason I'm doing this one is because I finally found a spot where I can do this whole skeleton and display it. Just as a quick note, sorry for the long delay on videos. Your prop maker got very sick for a very decent amount of time. I'm still recovering. You may hear it in my voice as I stop to take a breath here and there. My lungs are not 100%, but man, I'm feeling way better than I did, which we won't go into that story too much, but regardless, pneumonia sucks. Pneumonia over 5 months is brutal, and yeah, ICU and all that fun stuff. Anyways, so this is what we're going to be building today. We've already done the skull, and if you haven't watched the skull video, a lot of the stuff we're going to do with this is going to come up again when we do all these bones. So right off the bat, on the website, link down below, you will find a template. And on there you will find all of the bones for this dinosaur on 46 pages, all split up so you can cut them out, paste them together at your own will and volition. And trust me, there's so much cutting out on this template that my hands were sore. I think I went through 2 movies cutting out these templates. Those are just extras. Now, once you've got them all cut out, you're going to want to get them onto styrofoam. And I am not kidding you. This is one full Utahraptor worth of skeleton bones. There's actually about 2.5 sheets, budget 2.5 sheets for this. Now, it may be more depending on how you are going to wrangle cutting these all out, because depending on what saw you have, you might not be able to get a line so you can break the styrofoam and get into smaller pieces. What would be perfect is a long-necked hot knife would be amazing for this, but I don't have that, so what I'm going to do is I'm doing an initial breakdown on my bandsaw, and then I'm using a hot knife to actually cut the more detailed pieces. Anyways, I wanted to show you this. I'll include pictures of these so you can kind of follow my layout if you want to. It's like chasing insanity and expecting different results. That was a lot of work. So anyways, I'm going to get to cutting these. Once I have a few cut out, we'll go over how we form the bones and how we're going to stick it onto other styrofoam. You know me. Anyways, back in a few. Now, once you have all of your templates cut out, you're going to want to get them onto the styrofoam. I've built this whole thing to use 1-inch styrofoam for the bones, and I'm backing with 1/2 inch, but if you're not cheap, use 1 inch for the backing as well. It just gives you a bit more strength so it doesn't flex and have a chance of knocking off the acrylic grout when it goes on. Now, I'm going to cut this out and we'll go into the next step. I'm only going to show you how to do one bone, and then after that, we will talk about the other 102. Now, once you have this cut out, take a pen and mark the back with the number. There's so many bones on this thing that you're going to get confused very quickly, even with the number on the back. So once you got this, now it's up to you to get it to the state that you want it. Like, you can either use a spindle sander, which I suggest. You could use a hand sander. You can use an X-Acto knife to cut it down, and then you do the rest of the work of the sanding, like with what's this, 150 grit sandpaper. It's up to you how to get to this final station, and how you make the bones is up to you. Like, I'll show you what I've done with them, but other than that, you can just look at it and kind of, if you want to go absolutely correct to the real dinosaur, go for it. I didn't do it. I just went with what looked cool, and that one Alan Grant who looks at my bones and goes, you've got that wrong. I'll be like, yeah, I know I do, but hey, it didn't take me 3.5 months. So once you get it to this point and you've got it all sanded down, or not sanded down, but you've got it all worked, you have something like this. And now I'm going to quickly take the 150 grit sandpaper. I'm going to finish it off and you'll see where we are. Now you can see that we've got our bone all sanded down. When you're sanding, don't worry about if you make like the styrofoam tear a little bit. It'll all add to the character when we're done. Now, right at this very end, I used some very hard or very dense grit sandpaper. Very lightly, I took it and I worked the ends of the inside and the outside to give it a bone texture. So when I hit this with the heat gun now, it's going to mellow out all of the edges and really make that bone texture look cool. And just like that, you have a finished bone. You can go through now and you can use a piece of concrete, like my favorite piece of concrete here, to give it additional texture. So if you just rub that into there, it just gives it a little bit of extra wear look. And you can go even further and use a wood burning iron or a soldering iron to put cracks in this, but don't overdo it. It's easy to overdo. And now I'm gonna do the whole with the Lego where there's gonna be like a times 101. This is gonna take a long time. Enjoy it, enjoy the adventure. And I just realized I recorded all these vertically. The skull, you've seen on the video before, this was the base. I got this done a long time ago, 2 years ago actually. And now, what I do is in order to place these, I eyeball it. It's the best I can say is there is no art form beyond use the grid increments and put everything where it belongs. I use sewing pins to pin it in place to get everything kind of where I want it. And then I used a black pen and I drew underneath to mark them so I could pull them up, glue them, and stick them back down. I just use wood glue to glue it down. And you'll also see that these increments here are built so I can store it in 4-foot increments without, taking up 3,000 miles of space. So as you go along, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff on how I went about doing this. And it's been a ton of work. The one thing that isn't on that picture is this, which is a 1-inch spacer that I put in that's bringing the ribs up to level. Because it's got like 3 layers, I didn't want to go through and dig all these into each other. I didn't think it was gonna look good. So here, this is unique to this specific install, so ignore that part. Well, if not, you're still gonna have to do the hand, but not on a separate piece of styrofoam. And as you can see, as you go down, you can see how I did all the cracks in the bones. Everything's glued down. I'm starting to get the first coat of paint on. But here you can see how everything looks before I've mucked with it too much. And that's what it looks like before I've glued anything down. Anyways, I'm going to continue on this very big dinosaur, painting it and getting it all glued down. This is very much one of those things where you're going to have to spend some time to do this because I can't template this for you. You just kind of have to do it by eye. And I've pulled this thing apart probably 50 times to get everything exactly where I want it. Anyways, I'm going to keep on painting and then I'll keep you in the loop as I go. And here we have the finalized dinosaur. And my microphone's missing somewhere in the garage, so you're going to have to live with me just talking as always. The layering here, when you're going to put this together, I suggest you start with the backbone, then do the rock in behind it, then do the ribs, then do the rock, and then do the everything. All the layers as you go up, just make sure that you don't make work more hard than it has to be. And as you can see, this whole thing turned out pretty darn nice. All the way along the tail. Nice shadow there, Samhain. All the way to the tail, to the very end. Now, I used a paintbrush and black wash to flick it onto the actual surface. And then I used a little bit of green paint to put spots of lichen all around this thing. How far you go is up to you. And excuse the truck giving her in the background. It's up to you on how much aging you want to do on your rock. This turned out pretty nice. I'm going to leave it as is. Anyways, so this is going to be the last time you'll see it before I install it. And yeah, and anyways, see you. And here is the finished dinosaur in place for where I made it. Just a quick note, you will see that up here, there's a hip bone or a hip plate and a pelvic bone that was not in it previously. I've added that now, and there's a hook bone that I removed. It was a mistake on my behalf after not looking at the actual dinosaur for like 2 years and then just taking it at face value. But anyways, you can see how this works perfectly in place. Up here, you can see a little tiny extra piece that I added that allows it to go around the corner without wrecking the actual model. Anyways, I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I'm so happy that the skull finally has a body, and you can all enjoy what it looks like when you go through and you build a full-size version of one of these. Anyways, thank you very much for hanging out, and I hope you enjoyed the making of the juvenile Utahraptor. I will catch you on the next one. And sorry for the shortness of the actual video. I'm still getting back into the swing of doing this. It's been almost a year, and yeah, my health is getting better, but hopefully you'll be seeing more videos from me in the near future. Anyways, have a good one all.